Welcome to the show. I'm your host, Bryan Lee Whatley. Our story begins with a very special guest, the pioneer in women's boxing, the champion bodybuilder, the pianist, actress, and the very famous Dallas Malloy. Yes, that's all of her. At 16 years old, Dallas won a discrimination lawsuit and became the first female to have a sanctioned amateur boxing match and win by unanimous decision. She has won numerous titles in bodybuilding, including Miss California State, one of the most competitive states in bodybuilding there is. Dallas has done extensive film, television, and theater work, and was profiled in the movie at the very beginning of Jerry Maguire by Tom Cruise, along with the series of True Blood and many other shows. Dallas is now currently producing and acting in the film Third and Goal, which is written by the great Vicki Neal, about the first female quarterback drafted into the NFL. And to go along with her performing arts, she is classically trained pianist, writer, and athletic performance artist. And currently, she's developing a stage show incorporating her various styles of arts. Well, not only is she strong and beautiful on the outside, but she is incredibly beautiful and strong on the inside as well. Dallas is an animal care volunteer who loves to help and inspire others as well. But put no limitations on what she can accomplish. She will amaze you. A musical guest tonight is Sarah Skinner singing her famous song, Unchangeable. So please sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Welcome, Dallas. How are you doing today?
I'm wonderful. Thank you, Brian.
I'm so excited to have you onto the show because of who you are and all the stuff that you do in your life. I'm an absolute awe talking to you right now because I don't understand how you get a chance to do it. But before we get into all the stuff that you're doing, how are you doing today in terms of like weather and just your week going? And are you having a good day so far?
I know. Today is a great day. It's very productive and making progress. So I'm happy. I'm happy.
So let's talk about one of the most prominent things, or there's so many things about you that's prominent, but your bodybuilding. I'm such a huge fan of bodybuilding in terms of what it takes in order to get to the level that you're at. If for all the training, the cardio, the diets that you have to do, because you just won Miss California State in 2012, correct?
Yes, yes.
How do you? I love bodybuilding. I love working out, but I can't find the time to put in that much work. And I've got friends who actually compete, and they get their diet down. They'll call me up. They're like, Brian, guess what? I just changed my diet. I dropped 2 strawberries, and I'm like, you dropped? You do what? He's like, yeah, I took 2 strawberries on my diet list. I'm like, oh my God. The dedication that it takes to do something like that. And you've won, I think, a lot of awards for this, and winning in California is huge because everybody there looks great. Everybody's in shape. Can you talk about your bodybuilding history and what got you into that?
Yes. Thank you for the respect. It is extremely tough. It's extreme. It's not for most people. It is, for me, it's a passion, and it's such a powerful challenge, and it's not something that me or any of the other competitors I know you want to win. It's not like that. It's something that it's in you. It's deep. It's powerful, and it's complex. And I started lifting at 14. I saw Terminator 2. My life changed, and the next day I hit the weights. I didn't know what the heck I was doing, but I just started and figured it out. And I just when I saw that movie, it got to me. And it was Linda Hamilton, it was Arnold, it was the whole thing.
Oh yeah.
So powerful.
The Arms of Linda Hamilton. I definitely know that movie. She was amazing in it.
Incredible. And it was her look, but it was much more. It was her strength that came across, and it was her toughness, and she's amazing anyway. But it was just so incredibly well done, and she just represented something I hadn't really seen before. It's like a beauty and a power and a strength, and she was so cool. She was just so cool. She did, action, guns, and everything. She could do it. And then after that, I also saw this picture of this bodybuilder named Bev Francis from the 80s.
Yes, I love Beth Francis. Now you're going old school.
Yes.
I love old school. I grew up with Tom Platz and Corey Everson and all those greats. So you mentioned Beth Francis. She was. Go ahead. I'm so sorry. Whoa, I'm getting excited about this.
That's okay. No, I get it. It's I love the old school stuff and all those old time. You know, I love the poses, the old time poses.
Yes.
Yeah, and you know, Punching Iron 2, the women. I mean, both of them. You know, that are amazing and inspiring. But just, you know, it's like it just had such an amazing feel to it, and Nev, to me, had what I wanted, the perfect, powerful, thick physique. I really liked her muscularity, and she, at that time, you know, probably was, you know, she was the biggest one. It kind of changed the way it went, and anyway, that's a whole other topic, but I loved it, and I continued training. I did powerlifting in school also, and I just kept working towards it, you know. And I always knew. And then much later was when I started competing. I never even. It was all about the feeling of the training and getting the physique and the build, and being stronger. You know, it's not just about the lift for me. It's about, you know, I want to feel stronger. And later on, you know, I found out about shows and how that works, and it's just, you know, I started to learn how to pose, and that's a whole other skill.
Oh my God, yes.
Oh man, right?
That's a workout itself.
It really is. It really is. It's interesting because it's like anything done well. If it's done right, it looks easy. Right. And so many people have said, that's hard, really? And I'm like, try it. Let's say if you're working chest, you're just working chest. When you're posing, you're flexing everything. Right. From your calves, you know, to your shoulders. I mean, it's like when you learn to do it in a graceful way, and you keep your face is calm, and it's done in an artistic way, and it's incredible. It's incredible. So I love it. You know, it continues to be challenging, and it always will be because I always push myself.
Now, you mentioned something earlier. It's not something that you can just get up and say, okay, I'm going to go compete tomorrow, because bodybuilding takes years and years worth of work. And you're a very, very intelligent woman, and a lot of people don't realize on the amount of science and nutrition value and everything else that you have to apply to understand on how the most complicated system that we have in the world, which is the human body, on how it works, and to build muscle on top of that while everything else. It's incredibly complex. And so when you see people at your caliber, or Arnold's, or Beth Francis, or Corey, I have an autographed picture of Corey.
Corey.
Yeah, I mean, it's just amazing on the dedication and the work and the ability that you guys do to get to that level. So,
thank you. And it's true. I mean, and nutrition is a huge part of it. You know, I mean, it's like anything. People don't understand unless they've done it or been around. I mean, you know, this is 10,000 hours. You know, it's a sacrifice. This is being in the gym on Friday night, and other people are out doing whatever. I mean, it's like that's why it has to be, at least for me, something really powerful that's deeply that's driving me that I inside, because it's so powerful, and it makes you do things like with the nutrition, especially, that it's hard, and it continues to be hard, and it never gets easy. In fact, it's competing, especially, it gets tougher and tougher. But that's part of the beauty of it, because the more I challenge myself and raise that bar and push through to another level and push those so-called limits, it just does something to my spirit, my psyche, my self-esteem, that is just extremely great, and can only come from hard work, you know? Right. And when people shy away from that, that's when they go in the other direction. You know, I found, you know, I create a sense of momentum by, you know, going forward and keep stepping forward even when it's hard. And that's me when I'm at my best, when I'm continually facing challenges and pushing through. That's why, bodybuilding, I mean, you get it because you train and you train, and it's like, it's such a metaphor for life. I mean, you keep going forward and you build big things out of small things and small steps, and having that sort of patience and that steady focus, and keeping my eye on the prize, but also just keeping my eye on what is right in front of me in order to get to that bigger place and not getting thrown off my path. That's bodybuilding.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's just literally poetry in motion from the time that you start doing it to the time that you get on stage to the isometric training that is required for posing. It's really so dynamic and static at the same time. And so when you mention powerful, it's a very, very powerful sport. And it takes a lot to do it. So wow. I want an autograph poster of you now. I'm like, look, there's Allison Malloy in my weight room. I have a weight room downstairs, and so I'm like, I want a weight room. I want a picture of her right next to Corey.
Oh, yeah.
Then speaking of power and the dedication and everything that it takes, and you mentioned that you got into bodybuilding at 14, which is around the same time that I started watching Rocky movies and doing all with Arnold. Arnold's obviously one of my favorites as well. You are a pioneer in women's boxing, and if anybody's ever seen Jerry Maguire, Jerry monologued, or Tom Cruise monologued your ambition in boxing in the beginning of the movie of Jerry Maguire. And at 16, you won a discrimination lawsuit to become one of the first female-sanctioned amateur boxers. Can we talk about that? Because that is so huge. What you did there for women was so huge, and it still is to this day. You paved the way for so many people, even Ali's daughter. I mean, you paved the way for, I mean, it was groundbreaking. Can we talk about that? Do you mind?
Sure. Thank you.
So,
go ahead.
Oh, so I was going to ask, at 16 years old, you had already started getting into bodybuilding at 14. And at 16, you decided, being a young, beautiful, intelligent girl, you said, just kind of put this out there, I want to go and fight somebody and have somebody fight me. And that's not a lot that you really see about young women who are as ambitious as you are, to have somebody want to fight against. What made you want to go into boxing? What made you want to take that route?
Well, it's like this. I was actually 15 when I started, but all my life I've gotten inspiration, and I've been inner-directed, like I was saying, and for example, I started piano at 6 years old, and that was something that was my idea, and no one ever had to tell me to practice. It was all coming from me. I just knew I had to do it. And sometimes I'm inspired by movies, like with Terminator 2, and other things, but I feel like it's triggering something that's inside that was meant to be. And so at 14, I also received this inspiration that I'd be an actor, and I just knew that would be, and that it was perfect. And so I was watching Marlon Brando films because I love him.
I love him.
Oh my gosh, come on, right? Gotta love him. And I saw On the Waterfront. And on the waterfront, Marlon Brando is this really former fighter, and it's not a boxing movie, but there was something about him and the character and the feel of the movie, and the idea of boxing came to me through that, and I knew I have to do that. And it's just like everything. When I get that inspiration, I just go. And I just know that that's the next thing for me to do. And I need to do it. And it's unstoppable. And so it's hard for me to verbalize, because I almost feel like these things are kind of in a spiritual way. It's just something that I know I have to do, and it's within me. So I just started doing what I do, and I researched and tried to find a gym, and asked around, asked people at my, where I lifted weights and all that, and I found one. It was actually an all-male gym in my town. I was in Bellingham, Washington, and I went down there. I think think I'd be back after the second day, but I was, and I kept going back, and I fell in love with it. It was, as soon as I set foot in the gym, I knew it was right.
Wow.
Yeah. And, it was perfect, and I loved everything about it, and that's just the way it was. And it was, later that I even found out about the rule. It was, I was training there with the men. I did everything they did. I did all the drills and all the rounds and sparring and everything, which I loved. And, I mean, it was tough. That's the thing. It's tough, and it made me tougher, and that's what I wanted.
Nice.
And, empowering. And so, but I found out about the rules. The United States Amateur Boxing Federation is what it was called at the time. It's now USA Boxing, but it said female boxers shall not compete. And there I was. And my mom is the one who mentioned the ACLU. And it's funny because, she was not thrilled about me boxing. My dad was not thrilled about me boxing. But they kind of just knew that, well, frankly, I never asked for permission. I mean, if I'm going to do something, it's done.
It's in your spirit, yeah.
Yeah. And so, yeah, that's just the way it is. And, so they didn't love it, but they didn't try to really stop me. So my mom mentioned ACLU. I contacted them. I wrote them a letter, went back and forth with them, communication, and they took on my case and filed a discrimination lawsuit on my behalf. So, it took a while, and finally we went to court. It was a federal court, and they were forced to basically set up a women's division for the women. And, the whole time, I mean, here now I was 16 by then, and I'd been training, and I was just focused on the training. There was all this publicity around it, and everyone was asking me questions and everything, but I was just obsessed with the training and obsessed with getting better and getting quicker, faster, and stronger and everything, and that's what it was always about for me, just fulfilling a destiny. So, yeah.
Now, I believe that because I've studied martial arts since I was a little kid and stuff like that, and I've trained people in martial arts, and without a doubt, whenever I look at somebody, whether it's male or female, I look at the spirit inside them and the warrior mentality, and what exactly like what you're describing. And so it's a special breed of people who say, this is what I want to do, and nothing in the world is going to stop me from doing this, and I'm going to make sure that's accomplished. And I think that's huge, again, for what you did at that time, especially at that age. Most girls, I think, are like, oh, who am I going to take to the prom, or something like that. They're not looking at an ACLU discrimination lawsuit just so they can go fight a sanctioned boxing match. They're just not. There are exceptions to the rule, like yourself, but again, the majority of people, just even guys, whatever, they're not looking at stuff like that. They're same thing. They're thinking about the prom, I guess. I don't know, but I just think it's impressive. So, how women get into boxing or wrestling or anything else, and the major athletes of today, I think it's phenomenal. Now, you're currently writing your boxing memoir. Is that correct?
That's right. Yes.
Can we talk a little bit about that?
Sure. Yeah. And I do have to say we did have the first ever sanctioned match finally after going through everything. Me against another female who had been a kickboxer and a martial artist also.
Okay.
And she was 21, I was 16, and I did win by unanimous decision.
Woohoo! Ding ding ding!
Yeah. Yeah. It was a great, surreal, really kind of surreal experience. But yeah. So yeah, I'm writing the story, and I'm really grateful that during most of that time, I took journals. I wrote all the time, and so I have all these old journals and material, and I have my memories of it, and then I have now, which is really helpful for this. So, yeah.
So when is that going to be released? Do you have a time frame or anything, or are you just kind of like just as it goes along and inspires you kind of thing, or you find time? I know you don't ever sleep. So.
I don't have a time frame right now because it's not my number one project right now, just because out of necessity I'm focused more on the film. So it's like, seriously, I wish my life could be simple and I could just do one project at a time.
It's not possible. It would never be possible.
I don't think that can, I mean, maybe someday it'll be that way, but it's just, for some reason, it's like this. My creativity just keeps going. I can't stop it, and I don't try to control it. So I'm constantly taking notes. I mean, I'm at the gym training, and in between sets, I'm writing stuff down because it comes to me. So when it comes to me, I write it down. The book, I mean, I have, a couple completed chapters and then like pages and pages of notes. Going through the journals it's difficult. It's actually pretty emotional because reading through them, I'm remembering things that I completely forgotten. So it's not an easy experience. It's not something I could just sit down and get done. It'll take time, but it'll be great when it'll all happen in the right time.
Nice.
But I continue to just work on it. But I do have to put the film first right now.
Well, I can't wait. Whenever it does come out, I want a copy. I want to hopefully autograph copy. Hopefully, but I can't wait to read it. So.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Now, speaking of other priorities in your life and other things that you're doing, in terms of performing arts, you're a classically trained pianist. You write your own music, and you're doing a stage show that you're incorporating your writing, your piano work, your athletic performing art work. And one of the videos that I recently saw, everybody can check this out on YouTube. Go to her Dallas Malloy YouTube channel, but it's Strong Words 9. And I was just blown away by your talent playing the piano, because I wouldn't have guessed it. And then when I saw everything else in the whole show, and I was like, oh my God. So can we talk about some of your performing arts? And you said you started this at 6 years old?
That's right, yes. Yeah, piano, I told my mom I want to play piano, and she said, well, we don't have piano. I said, I want to play the piano. She said, okay, well, we'll rent a piano. And we did, and I wanted lessons. I asked for lessons, and so I took lessons from 6 to, I think, 14. I can't remember when my first recital was, but early. I was young. I mean, I think it was in first grade. So, pretty much from that whole time, I performed, and there was a college in our town, Western, and I performed there, and I actually started to play the viola at 11, and I played viola in an orchestra there also. And then I started violin as well. Wow. So, yeah, I was doing a lot, and composing music too, mostly for the piano. I did compose lots of music for the piano. In fact, I did not like school, okay? I was so not there. I was bored, and I would sit in class and actually compose music and be writing that, because I could hear music in my head and just write it,
Oh my God. It's like Beethoven.
Yeah, so I have fond memories of that. I also remember sitting in chemistry class, practicing my autograph, So I always made good use of my time in school, but it was rarely anything to do with what they were teaching.
Oh my goodness. Now, did you ever worry about, from starting music and playing the piano for so long, that when you got into boxing in your teenage years, that breaking your hands or your wrist or your fingers or anything would interfere with your musical abilities or your musical playing?
I never thought about that because you wrap your hands and you have the gloves, and the truth is, I mean, we sparred really hard. But your hands, my hands rarely, your hands are protected. I mean, I didn't really, and my thinking, I just never was worried about it. It never was a problem, and I just never I just felt strong and powerful. And, I had black eyes and bloody nose frequent, and that was like no big deal. And in fact, I liked the badge from getting tougher and feeling stronger. but my hands, that never, and in the amateur competition, I mean, you're so protected. It's like, yeah, that's not a problem. At least it wasn't for me,
Interesting. I like your term, the badge. I always
Yeah.
I have this phrase. I love quoting movies and TV shows and stuff, and I have this phrase from The Replacements. It's the football movie with Keanu Reeves, and he says in this huddle, "It's been a pleasure serving the field of battle with you guys."
Yeah.
I like to say something inspirational or not, but all I can say is pain heals, chicks dig scars, and glory lasts forever. And it's like, yes, no matter what's going to happen, no matter how much blood we shed on this field, we're going to do this, and we're going to live it to the fullest. And that's exactly what I'm feeling from you, is your spirit from that as well. It's like when you said I like the badge, I'm like going, oh, that is so cool.
Oh man, yeah, totally. Yeah, you get it. I mean, that's the thing. There's a power that comes in that, and that comes from that, and it's kind of it's a power that you don't get for free. You have to work for it. You have to suffer for it. And people that haven't had that are missing out. Because I know, because I continue to push that bar, that it's like, even now when I'm training, and it hurts, and I'm in pain, that it's positive pain, there's that burn that gets unbearable. You know what I think? I don't care. Good. I want it to hurt, because it's like I'm getting tougher with each rep.
Exactly.
So that kind of mentality, it's just, that carries me in every area of life.
Yeah. I coach football for a youth sports team here in Mobile, and that I tell them stuff like that. I'm like, don't worry about the pain right now. In 2 days, you won't ever remember it. There'll be a new pain in 2 days. In 3 days from now, there'll be a different pain. Why are you worried about your legs? Because your arms are going to be hurting tomorrow. Just keep moving on and keep strengthening up. And it's weird on how just those different disciplines and thoughts of life may seem rather cruel, but in essence, it builds character and your drive for going on throughout life, especially as somebody as successful as you. And it's a metaphor for just work. And it's whether you're working in the ring, or whether you're working in bodybuilding, or working at the piano, it's a metaphor for work. You're going to have a badge. Earn that badge. So.
That's right. And you can't get it for free, and no one can give it to you. And only you can get it. And that's like so powerful. And we call it, and I'm in football too. I participate in bodybuilding. It's like being in the trenches. In the trenches. And that's why there's this respect and camaraderie. In bodybuilding and in other sports too, you get it because you've been there. And it's funny because after my first show, I remember coming back to the gym and feeling different and changed, because I was different. I was changed. I wasn't the same person. And because it was competing, because it's so extreme, there is a point at which, and every time I've competed, I felt this, I feel like I'm dying. Because the food at that point, it's so restricted. We cut our water, so we're dehydrated, which is the weirdest experience in the world. And what that does to a person's mind, at least mine, is really interesting. Thank God it's temporary. Dream about water, dream about Gatorade. It's so wild. So to go through that, live, not only and do that, but perform well and see the pictures looking as though I actually felt good in that moment, which is a miracle, is something else. And it's like, to go through that, it's just fantastic. And there's nothing like it.
When I was in the military, I was going to a military academy, and I had to do a weigh-in to get to this one management course that they were doing, this one training academy piece. And they said, oh, by the way, you're going to be weighed in when you get there. And they told me about 3 days, 2.5 days before I had to deploy there. And I was like, oh my God, I went and checked my stats, and I was like 20 pounds overweight. I was like, no way, this can't be happening. And so I literally dehydrated 20 pounds of water weight within 2.5 to 3 days just to make the scale. And once I got the scale, then I rehydrated back up right afterward. I had like gallons of Gatorade and the water fountain. And then they almost booted me out because they heard about the extreme that I went to make sure that I got accepted to get into it. And they were like, I can't believe that you did that. And I'm like, I'm a soldier. That's my job. That's what I'm supposed to do. I'm supposed to train under extreme conditions. So to me, that was just another piece that I had to do. So yeah, when you talk about dehydrating for stage and stuff like that, it's incredible the amount of work that you guys do.
That's awesome, though. I love that you did that. It's great. Good for you.
Well, like you said, the whole hallucinating, you start hallucinating, you start thinking about things. Boy, I must have dreamt about oceans and oceans. So.
I'll never forget, one of the thoughts that came to me was, if I ever play a role where I'm having to be, like, dying in a desert, I can do it. I can do it. Hands and knees, crawling. Yes, I got it.
Yeah. Well, I shared time in Iraq, so it's the desert whole thing, it definitely plays off. Now, going from your performing arts with the piano, because it's such a beautiful instrument, and the other instruments that you played, but going from that all the way into acting, and you've done extensive film and television and theater work. You've been profiled on the front page of LA Times Sports and Inside Edition. Of course, I mentioned Jerry Maguire earlier, where he did the monologue about you and your pathway into boxing that you did for women. You've been on True Blood, so many different things. But you've got this great movie that's coming up, and I love it because like I mentioned earlier, I'm a football coach. I love inspirational stories. That's what this is to me. Can we talk about this movie Third and Goal that you have coming out?
Oh, absolutely. Try and stop me.
Oh, I'm not going to do that.
Oh, man,
you might beat me up.
Third and Goal. It's incredible. It's it's a fiction story. It's written by Vicki Neal, and she's an amazing writer. She has so many scripts. Oh my gosh, this woman. I could talk about her for an hour. It came to me because we have a mutual friend. She's in Ohio. We never met, but this wonderful friend of ours, Ken Mora, has a podcast called Screenplay Theater, and they podcast award-winning screenplays. And so he said, "Oh, gosh, my friend Vicki wrote this script. You'd be great for it. I want to perform it as a podcast, So they perform scripts on there, and it's just the sound, So it's like a really cool theater experience. You hear it with the sounds and the music and everything. So I was like, okay. So I read it, and we recorded it, and I'll let you know when that's going to air.
Nice.
But I read it, and I just couldn't put it down. I felt that same feeling that I've, done my best to put into words here when I talk about being inspired with the boxing, with the piano, with everything, where I just read it and I just know, oh my God, I have to do this. And I think I read it all the way through, and I think I read it 2 more times that night. I just kept seeing it. I could see the images, I could see the scenes, I could see the character. And, it's like I said, it's a fiction story about the first female pro quarterback. And it's just, Vicki, she's just amazing. I mean, it is so beautifully written, and it's so inspiring, and the characters are so layered, and the relationships are really powerful. And my character, her name's Jenna Ramey, and she's born to play football, and she played football her life when she was a little kid, and she was really close with her dad, so she has that really cool relationship, and just very, very touching, and he was a coach, and so, she was raised in that environment, and I don't want to give away the story, but it's just, it's one of those things that, it's a powerful story, and I think it's really inspiring, and who knows, if someday maybe that could happen. Jenna, she's obviously an exceptional athlete and a genetic freak in a great way. But it's like, that's what it takes. And she had the right training and the right genes and the mindset, and she just, wants to do what she loves. And she encounters all kinds of, adversity and her through the movie. I mean, she just, she battles prejudice and loss of a loved one and self-doubt but she goes forward. And I never connected so much to a character, and I just felt completely compelled to move forward. So I'm producing the film. I have another producer, Jen Scott, who's awesome, and I've talked with Vicki. She, like I said, she's just incredible, and she's just this wonderful, humble lady who's a brilliant writer. And I recently just met with Alex Warman, who's going to compose the music. I mean, he's incredible. I'm sure he's done great films, March of the Penguins and Talladega Nights, Anchorman, all kinds of movies.
Right.
And I've been a fan of his for oh my god, a while. And
a little shake and bake. I love Talladega.
Exactly, yeah, so perfect. And a particular track from March of the Penguins that he did called "The Harshest Place on Earth."
Oh yeah.
Oh man, right? I mean, it's just really. I mean, music to me is so powerful, and it's just I hear music, I see images. I think like a director, I see scenes, and that's always been in my mind. And so for this, I just I thought he would be incredible, and he is attached. I'm absolutely thrilled. And I mentioned also that lately there's been a few female football players in the media that have one in particular, Carolyn Claw. She was on Ellen DeGeneres' show.
Oh yeah.
So, yeah. She's this incredible football player. She's been playing all her life since she was a little kid. She's 11 now, and she got kicked off her team for being female. I mean, it's like they find this rule where she can't play anymore. Well, her mom, this wonderful lady, Mary Cecilia, she created a petition for her, for Carolyn, and they have over 101,000 signatures now. In fact, you can go on change.org.
I love that site.
Yeah, Carolyn Claw, CLA. And, so she can play. I mean, this is what she loves. So anyway, I talked to her and another football player, Aaron DeMaglio, who's a quarterback in high school in Florida. And I talked with her mom, and they're both going to be featured in the film. Because I just thought, that'd be so incredible to have them as part of it, because, they're players and they're serious athletes, and I just think it's really meaningful. So they're going to be in it. And I've been talking with Sam Gordon, her people, to see if she can be in there as well. She's interested in that, so I'm really excited.
Oh my goodness! Do you feel that this movie is this just come to me? So, do you feel that this movie is a kind of a biography about you, and just about your, again, going back to your spirit, to your warrior drive, to all the stuff that you've accomplished in your life? This movie seems like it's written for you.
That's interesting, because it feels like it is. It's funny because since Vicki and I hadn't met until she actually wrote this several years ago, but I feel like it was made for me, and there are so many parallels. I mean, my God, it's just, I couldn't relate more. And it's funny because, everyone's different. I'm me, and so I don't know any other way. I just know how I feel everything. And I know that there's women who, they don't even feel comfortable going to the gym. They don't even feel comfortable being around the guys. And it's like, that's so natural and normal to me. That's where I probably feel my most comfortable. Right. And every now and then I'll look around and be like, I'm the only girl in here. Oh, well, whatever. Like, it doesn't even mean anything.
Exactly.
Just, I'm an athlete, and so I think just that alone is not something that, like, I can see myself sitting there on the bench with the guys. It's not a big deal. It's not uncomfortable for me. And I think that would be really hard for, just speaking as an actor, for a lot of women to find that and really, really live it, and really have that essence where they're at home.
Right.
and I think because of my experiences in my life, it's prepared me for this. You know, and the character's just, I just love her so much, you know, and I love her relationship with her dad, and I am close to my dad. He is an athlete. He's a swimmer. He's a champion swimmer, and so yeah, there definitely there's many parallels that are true.
I think your passion for who you are is definitely going to come out in the character that you play, and I think it's going to show amazingly on the big screen. There's certain things that you just can't hide, and no matter how many cameras you take away or special effects, you can't replace. And I think your passion was going to show huge in this movie.
I think so too. Because yes, you can't hide that. You wouldn't want to hide that, and that is what this is about. It's about passion. Because think about it. You know, I sometimes step back and look at my life, and it's like, it seems as though I choose things, or rather things choose me, that are straight uphill. You know, boxing, bodybuilding, typical male sports, built-in obstacles, not easy, not conventional. You know, there's movies. Okay, Hollywood. There's nothing harder than that. Okay, and that's gonna go in the book. I have a whole Hollywood book about that. But it's just, you know, it is not for the weak. It is not for people who are sitting on the sidelines. I mean, that is something. And sometimes I just think it's funny because it's like my spirit was bored and said, what can I do to really create as many interesting, unique challenges as possible in one lifetime that are going to be straight up slow.
I don't think you're human. I'm telling you, I think you're from another world or something.
I don't think so.
And that's a compliment in every aspect of the way. I mean, you're just amazing.
Thank you. Well, I do know that people have to be who they are, and I cannot be anybody else, and I have to follow where I'm called. And
I love that.
That's really it. It's like I said, I'm directed, and I don't expect anyone to be like me or do what I do. They have to do what they're going to do. And bodybuilding's not for everybody, boxing's not for everybody, football's not for everybody. But these are things I have to do. But if anything, they can look at me and say, well, at least she's doing what she has to do. Maybe I could figure out what I got to do too, and do it, regardless of, you know, criticism, hating, and whatever else they get, because I've gotten plenty of that throughout my life. But I don't care.
I have this mantra and this slogan that I use, and it's only 3 letters, but it's a statement in itself, and it's the letter U, then B, then you. You be you. And as long as you be you, there's nobody else that can be. And there's so much true to it. And you mentioned the calling. That is so very, very important for people to understand their own calling for whatever it is that they're supposed to do, or however many things that they are supposed to do. Once they receive that, then they need to follow their life's direction, their life's plan for that. And you've been doing that so much. It's unbelievable. So the fact that you went from bodybuilding, which is incredibly complicated and technical, to boxing, which is incredibly complicated and technical, to playing classical piano, which is incredibly complicated and technical, to acting in this movie, which is not easy whatsoever. And again, and you're picking a sport, which is football, which is incredibly complicated and technical. You don't like taking the easy road, do you?
I don't. And I swear, and it's a funny thing, these things, you know, I feel like it chose me. These things chose me. Acting chose me. I just answer the call. So sometimes I shake my head like, God, can't you just take a break, or, you know, I need like a year off, you know, but it's just, I can't. I got to keep going forward, and so it does seem to be that way. It is uphill, but I know it's off for a reason, and I know it's exactly the way it's supposed to be.
Very nice. Now, you're in pre-production for this movie right now, and people can go and look at Third and Goal on Facebook, and also Third and Goal. That's AndGoalMovie.com, thirdandgoalmovie.com, to check it out. But because you're in pre-production, you're looking for investors and stuff. So how do people contact you? Do they contact the website, and then from there get in touch with the producers in order to help the funding and everything? How can people help out with this movie? Because it sounds like a phenomenal movie.
It is. and they can contact me through the website, or they can contact my business email, which is my name and then the numeral 1 @gmail.com. So it's Dallas Malloy 1 @gmail.com. And they can get me through there. And then also there's the Facebook page. It's facebook.com/thirdandgoal movie. Yeah. Either way.
Okay, so people can donate money, or
Sure.
as much or as much as they can, or as much as they want.
Right. Yeah, we are looking for partners, and it is going to be an incredible film, and we do have some good people on board, and I just know that it's going to be hugely impactful, and I'm thrilled. People that I talk to I'm just getting such incredible feedback about it. But I'm not surprised, because the way it's written that it reached my heart, and it's just propelled me to take action, because I have to. And this is passion. So the right people will be like, you know what, I want to be a part of that. And it's going to touch a lot of people. It really is.
I just want to be the water boy in the movie. And I know football, and I love acting and all that stuff like that, but I wouldn't mind being the water boy.
Yeah, we'll do that. Yes.
Oh my goodness. Not only are you tough on the outside, very beautiful, very strong on the outside, but you have a very beautiful and strong part as well for your animal care volunteer work that you do.
Yeah.
For kittens and things. Can we talk a little bit about that?
Sure. Oh, yes. Animals. Oh my God. They save my life every day.
They do, don't they? I mean,
they do.
Talk about unconditional love and uplifting of spirits and emotions throughout a daily basis. They just give it to you.
Yes, completely. I think, I think animals teach the most important lessons just by being themselves, and they're just there being, unconditional love and gentleness, and it's I have 3 cats that I adopted through Kitten Rescue, which is an amazing organization. I love them so much, and one of my cats, he just makes me laugh all the time, and it's like he is such an example of, hey, I'm comfortable all the time, wherever I am, I'm happy, and it's just so funny, because if only I could be so comfortable, if only I could be so in the now, all the time, but no, I'm thinking about this thing, this call I gotta make, and this thing tomorrow, but they truly they're just such an example of peace and living in the moment. And these simple things are so easy to overlook, but they're actually the ancient truth that we can master. And these are things I do work on, I practice, that gives peace of mind. Being in the now is where it is. But, it's practice, absolutely.
Now, I like to think of my I mainly have dogs right now. I had a couple of cats, but I don't anymore. But I like to think of my dogs as family to me. They are my brothers. They are my sons, my daughters, my sisters, kind of a thing. And when I lose one, it's so heart touching to me. But so I take the time that I can to enjoy as much as I can with them. And it's amazing whenever I'm so stressed. I've got so much going on throughout the day that and I just go to give them a bowl of food. As simple as that is, and then I just sit down with them, and it's like they just de-stress me. Just the look on the face, or they just brush by me or whatever else. It's so calming, and so it's like that piece in the day when I just go outside and sit and just be with my dog. That it's so touching, and so I give back to an actual cat rescue. That now you mentioned Kitten Rescue, and it's kittenrescue.org in LA for everybody who wants to help out. Please go help out kittenrescue.org. But I also give back to a kitten rescue. It's called Kitty Love Rescue in Southern Georgia, in Valdosta, Georgia, and I help out with them, and they do stray and feral cats and stuff like that. So,
wonderful. But
I think it's great that people understand, if you haven't had a chance to have a pet, or if you have had a pet, you understand what I'm talking about. But there's so many cats out there and dogs out there and animals that just need love and affection. And if you can get them from a rescue instead of paying for the pedigree, then I encourage people to do that. Stop by your local animal shelter, talk to your local rescues and stuff like that. See what you can do to volunteer, see what you can do to help out, because without a doubt, a pet will change your life in the most positive way. So when I heard that you were an animal care volunteer as well, I was like, oh my God, that's one more thing I love about you, Dallas.
Thank you. Oh, yeah, no, thank you. And everything you said is so true. And I love dogs. They're just love, and it's amazing what they do, because, I see a lot of people walking their dogs, and it's just the presence of an animal just softens everything. And, LA is a tough place. It's a cold place in the summer, they say. And, people will stop and talk to, I see people talking to each other because they're dogs. I mean, it's like people will kind of, they help bring people together. And, because they're egoless. They don't have our fears and all these things that are part of the human condition, that I work to overcome. But they make me better, and whenever I've been able to be of service, and, I've done a lot of, cat fostering, and when I can do that, they make me better, because, even, like my cats now, I have to stop what I'm doing and take care of them. And so it's good for me. It gets me out of myself, because it's easy to just be my workaholic self and just go until I'm sitting at the computer, I'm hungry, but I don't want to stop, because I just don't want to stop working,
Right.
But it's like I have to, nurture them, and I mean, cats do stuff that. I love loving on them. They're wonderful.
Exactly.
But they make everything better. They do. And they are friends. Like you said, they're family.
So what are your cats' names? Are they cutesy names?
What's that?
Are they cutesy names?
They kind of are, and I have to say, I love their names, but they did come with these names. But I didn't want to change them, because they were, because, it's Domo, Saki, and Cha-Cha.
Domo, Saki, and Cha-Cha.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. And Domo's actually the perfect name, because he is in charge. He's Major Domo. he's a very busy cat. He's always monitoring everything in the house, He's a bit of a workaholic too, I must say, but he does slow down and take naps everywhere, so it's cool.
Nice. Well, just a big shout out to y'all's cats. So.
Yay! You hear that, y'all?
Y'all.
Now, I won't embarrass you again, Brian, but I love your accent. So charming.
Yes, ma'am. I appreciate it.
Oh.
Thank you kindly.
Kills me. Oh,
oh my goodness! I'm blushing. Now my cheekbones are killing me from smiling so much.
Oh.
Now, where are some other future projects and shows and appearances? Are you going to be competing again soon, or where can people can come see you for signing autographs, getting posters, things like that? Where can any events or anything coming up?
Sure. Well, you know what? The best thing to do is I'll keep all that posted on my website and everything. Mostly right now, I'm so focused on the film. I don't have any competitions planned, but I will post everything. When I will be somewhere. I actually just last weekend appeared. I played the piano for it was the bodybuilding event or the fashion show for benefiting the Animal Samaritans and over at Palm Springs. So when I have stuff like that, I'll post it. I'll post on my Facebook pages you mentioned, my Twitter, and I'll keep people informed that way for sure. Definitely.
Very cool. Now, if I ever get the chance to get out there, then I'm definitely going to look you up.
Oh, absolutely. You have to.
Now,
I just bless in person.
What's that?
I'll see you blessed in person.
I will.
That's okay. I get it.
Oh my goodness, love you. Now for websites and stuff like that, where everybody can go and contact Dallas, there's several different websites that you can visit. One is DallasMalloy EPK. That's Echo Papa Kilo.com. DallasMalloyEPK.com. There's obviously DallasMalloy.com. DallasInspiration.com, which is her writing. You can catch her out on Twitter. Everybody go follow Dallas on Twitter. It's the Dallas Malloy. That's THE Dallas Malloy. Everybody go and follow her there. YouTube channels, IMDb, her Facebook pages. She's got several different Facebook pages with Dallas Malloy Actor, Dallas.Malloy. There's fans, there's writers, athletes, musicians. So many people love her. She has to have so many different sites. So everybody go friend her, love her there. Third and Goal movie is go to the website thirdandgoal.com or thirdandgoalmovie.com and also check it out. Like the pages Third and Goal movie on Facebook as well. So all kinds of things in order to follow Dallas on, and I encourage everybody to do that. There's so many great things that you've done in life, and you know what? I just feel that there's so many great more things that you're going to do. The world has not ended for you one bit at all.
I feel like I've barely started. I know that might sound crazy, but it's just,
that's what
so
I feel.
Much more.
Yeah.
There's so much more. Yeah.
Wow.
We need things to do. Yeah.
So do you have any final thoughts you would like for everyone to know about you or about life in general or anything?
Well, you know, the one of the things that's on my mind lately is just that I know a lot of people are suffering, and these are hard times right now for a lot of people that I know. And it's, you know, like I mentioned, being in LA, and, you know, it's, I know all about that, trust me. I know all about it. And I think that what it comes down to is that it is all about love. Because if I don't have love and peace of mind, I don't have anything. And, you know, I learned a long time ago that money isn't going to make me happy. I have to have money. We have to pay our bills. We got to eat. Absolutely. But if I don't have peace of mind, nothing else matters. And so I practice maintaining peace of mind. And so I just I want to tell people to please just not give up, and that people do care. And there's people all over the world that do care. And I think it's part of our human condition to feel alone and like people don't care, but the truth is they do. And there's people who pray for everyone in the world. So there's someone praying for you, you know, even if they don't know you. And we are all connected. Regardless of what you believe, we are connected as an energy. And what each of us does matters. And we all do matter. And we all are unique and an important piece of the puzzle. And just to not forget that love.
That's beautiful and poetic. I love that. I love that. On behalf of everyone, I want to thank you, Dallas, for being on to the show. For all the producers, all the editors that work around the world, all our fans from around the world, all the stations that carry us. Thank you so much for coming in here and talking with us tonight, sharing us your life story, and looking forward to, you know, the next chapter of Dallas Malloy. Like I said earlier, there's so much more things to come. I love the work that you've done. I love you and who you are and the inspiration that you bring to, you know, millions of people out there. The pathways that you've carved out of stone for others to follow and walk through is simply an inspiration. And I just wish you all the best in life and coming up, because I know there's going to be so many more great things. And thank you so much on behalf of everyone for coming in here and talking with us.
Thank you so much, Bryan. You're an absolute delight, and I appreciate you very much. Thank you.
Thank you. You have a very beautiful week ahead.
You too.
All right. Bye-bye.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Please welcome our musical guest, Sarah Skinner, singing her song, Unchangeable.
Who else can I be if I can't please you as I am? What else can I say to you without telling the truth? Tell me what you dream sometime. Is it something I could try? I know it's plain to see that something's holding me back. You just don't believe me, I'll just wind up believing. I'm unchangeable. Oh, oh. saying I know I'm unchangeable.
And now, a word from our sponsors.
At Taylor Gifts, we do customized monogramming and embroidery. We can monogram anything from a simple one name on a bib for a baby to a customized logo on a company shirt. We can make gifts for your wedding entourage and gifts for your friends. Label your children's items for school and put names on jerseys for sports. If you have items of your own you want them monogrammed and embroidered, we can do that. Tailor Gifts are sewn with high-quality thread on a professional embroidery machine. So go to the website www.tailorgifts.net, call 251-391-4354, email sales@tailorgifts.net, visit us at ETSY, and Facebook us. We are ready for your orders.
Welcome to WROM, Realms of Music Radio and Social Network. We support independent artists and talk shows, hosting a large discussion forum and an artist gallery. We also have a large social network combining the best of Facebook and MySpace into one. So make sure you submit your music to us and create a profile to promote yourself today. That's realmsofmusic.com, the best of music radio.
The Ghost Tales Television Network, GTN. GTN is designed to give the paranormal TV and filmmaking community the opportunity to showcase their talents and creations. If you believe you have what it takes to create your very own TV show and or short film and you would like the opportunity to showcase your creations, you may contact us at ghosttalestv@gmail.com or call 901-377-7166 for more details. Make sure you visit ghosttalestv.com. GTN, America's Paranormal Superstation.
Jackalope 105 FM on jackaloperadio.com. Your alternative to the grind of internet and FM radio. When we say diversity in programming, we mean it. Lots of stations brag, throw out a hype, and pad their numbers. Well, we don't. Accept no limitations. When you truly want awesome 24-hour radio, tune in to Jackalope and rock your routine. Jackalope 105 FM on jackaloperadio.com. Thank you for listening to the show. I'm your host, Bryan Lee Whatley. I hope you have an amazing weekend, and I look forward to seeing you next time when another story begins. Until then, love and light.